Uh-oh.
Oh my.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering. Interesting update, apparently, to the Shang-Chi saga. Now, I will say it has done better than expected at the box office. I'm not exactly sure what that means, though. Does it mean that it was a financial success? I mean, maybe after you bake everything in, the new Disney Plus subscriptions that may happen after 45 days, that probably means that. Shang-Chi lifts to $258 million global. Free Guy at $277 million. It still hasn't beaten Free Guy. Now, Free Guy, as far as I know, has a release in China, although I'm not sure. Disney Marvel's Shang-Chi and Legend of the Ten Rings handily crossed $250 million globally this weekend, seeing a very good 34% drop at the international box office and maintaining number ones in key markets such as Australia, Brazil, France, Germany, Korea, and more. The overall overseas weekend was $35 million from 42 markets, lifting it to $112 million worldwide to $257 million. It's still a question mark on the China release ahead, but there is some runway elsewhere for the Destin Daniel Cretton directed superhero pick. The word of mouth continues to be positive. Next up, Warner Brothers' legendary sci-fi epic Dune opens next week in select overseas markets, and then Bond starts rolling in September 28th. And I think that's when we're really going to start to see what a box office success really looks like. There's been a couple of movies. I think even the Halloween movie now is on, you can get it on Peacock Plus. I don't know why the heck it ended up on that. I don't know who pays for Peacock Plus. But that's a thing. You see here, we'll have to see. The only major studio title in China market as of late was Free Guy. There you go. Continues to excel. The Ryan Reynolds stars now gross $276 million globally, including $174 million internationally, with $76.3 million in China. It shows you just how, that's more than a third of its total revenue coming from China. That's pretty impressive. It just kind of explains why the market is so important. New line Warner Brothers' Malignant expanded overseas this session, adding $6 million in 70 markets with 35% drop from opening weekend, just has a total of $15 million. I would argue that that's a pretty massive flop. Malignant is also available on HBO Max. I saw the trailer and I thought that it would be a decent movie. I don't know if it's just not good or people, I happened to see the trailer like on YouTube or something. I don't know how much they spent on advertising. I still on my watch list. I don't know. I haven't really read the reviews, although, I generally go the other way. But more bad news, the Shang-Chi actor, Simu, claims media narratives are polarizing us while advocating for dismantling the police and has pushed systemic racism theory. Shang-Chi actor Simu recently responded to reports that the film will more than likely not release in China following resurfaced comments of him criticizing the CCP. If you recall, a Chinese organization called DIBA posted screenshots from a CBC interview of him back in 2017. Those screenshots, he discusses that his family, who came from China, lived in a third world. They lived in a third world where you have people dying off starvation. The Shang-Chi film was already on rocky ground when it came to release in China, as a report from May by Variety's Rebecca Davis noted that the film had been omitted from the list of upcoming Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 4 films. Rebecca Davis also explained why the omission was significant. It might seem small, but its significance lies in its provenance. The channel is under the jurisdiction of China's powerful propaganda department, which has the final word on film approvals. This is via bounding into comics, by the way. Not only was the film unlikely to get released back in May, but the CNBC reported at the beginning of September that Shang-Chi is the first Marvel movie that has not been approved by the Chinese government for distribution. Maybe that means it's going to happen down the line, but it sure seems unlikely. The reason it's reportedly not getting released in China is the depiction of the character's villain, Wenwu, played by Tony Leung. CNBC reports the comic books of which the film is based has been considered racist and filled with reductive stereotypes. Wenwu is a mashup of Marvel villains, the Mandarin, and Fu Manchu. Simu has responded to these reports that the film might not get a release in China via an Instagram story captured by Twitter user Spoiler Pleaser. What Western news often fails to report on is the absolute groundswell of support we've received from parts of the world, including people from China. He continued, all around us, media narratives are polarizing us and turning us against each other. But I have seen the kindness and the empathy that all people possess. And I know that we have fans from all over the world who cannot wait to watch our movie and make history with us. Again, you're not making history. Let's dial it back a little bit. Whether you seek positivity or toxicity on social media, you will find it. He concluded, thanks to all Marvel fans in China and all around the world. The kid seems like a fine person. I think just another Hollywood bot, but nothing in particular inflammatory. However, as a man who has espoused the negativity or called out the mainstream press, he has an interesting history of tweeting just what he says he doesn't like. While he is right in his assertion that the media narratives are polarizing in the United States, the actor engaged in participating in them, in my opinion, making that polarization even worse. Back in June 2020, he joined a wave of activists and celebrities calling for the defunding and dismantling of police. He tweeted, over the last few days, I went from empathetic and sad to just plain angry. Defund it and make way for a new system that doesn't prey on the lives of the underprivileged. I'm not sure what the new system would be exactly. He then claimed the structure of the United States is based on systemic racism. He shared a DM from conversations with his parents where he wrote, super proud of my parents for watching the YouTube video I sent to them about systemic racism and proactively educating themselves. Excellent presentation. I also happened to read the article about American history, which explained why policies were made essentially based on racial discrimination against black people after the Civil War. As it explained, it's not a systemic problem. It's not just simple racism incident. Not sure what we should learn from it as Asian immigrants. Just be kinder to black folks. Well, if you look at the relationship, by the way, between Asians and black folks, I think you'll find some interesting interactions. Look who's on the receiving. Look at some of the details around the Stop Asian Hate movement and see where that's coming from. That those two communities do not get along well. Hopefully in just a small way, I imagine. But who knows? Liu then shared the video, which is 4.5-minute video from ACT TV titled Systemic Racism Explained. In a now deleted tweet, he went so far as to want officers disciplined for smiling. He tweeted, the bar is set too GD low. Officers should be disciplined for the slightest abuse of their power. Okay, well, I probably would agree with that. They should be disciplined for every punch, kick, swing of a baton, or smirk that was not absolutely necessary. A smile? I'm not exactly sure. I do agree. Where we don't agree is probably what's necessary and what's not necessary, and that's where the problems come around. I strongly back the police on the whole. Of course, there are bad apples, and I wish that the union was gone. The union protects bad cops, and that needs to get fixed. But the idea that you need to just remove policing, I don't know. I have lived, my parents, we didn't have a lot of money growing up, but we didn't live in a high crime area. So when the police came around, for me, I was chasing them down on my bike to get baseball cards, not running away from them. I understand enough to know that people grow up differently and have different interactions with law enforcement. But the idea that you just can, lose your mind and throw all of them, throw the baby out with the bathwater is insane. He would then proceed to double down on his stance by completely changing the criminal justice system by comparing it to Spider-Man. Just remember, we had to reboot Spider-Man a few times to get Tom Holland. We can reboot the criminal justice system too. What? And then you get the, what will we replace the police with? Social workers. Hello, 911. Yes, there's 7 people trying to break into my house right now. I can see several of them are armed. I need you to send help. We'll send the social worker right away. That's the dumbest crap. Okay. I'm a proud 2A guy. You want to get rid of the police? Great. Let me protect my property then. We'll see how you like the wild, wild west. De-escalation. Shelters. Are you joking? Therapists. Safe. I mean, he's just a bot. He's just like a SJW bot. Yeah, I mean, congrats on your movie, I guess. And congrats on pushing the exact same leftist narratives that everyone else does. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.